A pleasant day to all of you, class. This is me again, Sir Reyes, your EIM teacher. Today, I will be teaching you how to make your ordinary extension cord or extension outlet to become better or a modified version and much more safe than usual. This lesson that I will be presenting to you is purely based on our week 8 module that has something to do with application, with its corresponding competency to install electrical systems, auxiliary outlets, and lighting fixtures, bearing also its corresponding code to be found in the curriculum guide of K-12 Electrical Installation and Maintenance course for grades 7 and 8. This lesson, on the other hand, is already a consolidation of what you have learned starting from Module 1, which has something to do with the tools and the materials and supplies, and same as with the other modules or lessons like mensuration, occupational health and safety or OHS, all to be applied in this lesson or in this activity. Before beginning with, let me remind each and every one of you, class, to observe and practice safety measures, because what you will be dealing with or what we will be dealing with is not a simple and yet a nothing to joke activity, or else you'll be sorry for not observing and practicing such measures which I have taught you in your OHS class. And this only means that electricity can actually kill, and that is if you will be negligent all the way through. Without further ado, let us begin assembling an ordinary extension outlet with switch for safety. What I have here, class, are the actual tools which I will be using in assembling the extension outlet with switch for safety. Starting with the wire stripper, which can be used in cutting and stripping off wires such as solid, rigid, and stranded. And another tool, important tool, is the combination pliers or lineman's pliers, which can also be used to strip off wires in case you do not have this one, which is the wire stripper. And in driving out screws, of course, you will be needing screwdrivers just like this one. This one is actually a dual type. We have the Phillips, and the other one, we have the flat. For the needed electrical supplies and materials, what I have here on the table, class, are actual plugs. Plugs of different sizes, starting from the small one, the medium one, and the large one. Now, of the three, these two are my personal choice, because this one, with the use only of a flat screwdriver, youngsters can easily open the cover of this plug. That's why I cannot consider this as safe or safe to use. Now, between the two, since they are both safe to use, both fitted, and fully covered compared to the first one. Between the two, I prefer using this one because it can fit not only medium-sized cord, but it can also fit large size cord or cable. Next, in the list of electrical supplies and materials, what you are seeing on the table, class, are 3 different kinds of cables with different sizes. Starting with the solid, which is no longer or widely used or commonly used by electricians, but this is still available and can be bought on hardwares. Second one is the stranded one. This one is the most commonly and widely used in house wiring and building wiring. As you can see, that's why it is called as stranded. There are strands that are somehow solid. Actually, there are 7 strands. Next is the flat cord. As you can see, the strands are very fine. So we call this as rigid wire. Now, there are considerations you need to note or bear in mind, class, because assembling an extension outlet or extension cord is no easy task. Why? First, is the extension cord or extension outlet for use of using appliances with motors? In that case, if you will be using appliances with motors, then choose the stranded or solid one. Another thing, will it be used for appliances with high wattages? Then try considering also the heavy duty ones, which is the stranded. But if you will be using only the extension outlet or extension cord for charging your phones or for using your small electric fan, this one is fitted for the job. So, since I will be assembling an extension outlet or extension cord with safety switch, wherein I will only be using it for charging my phone and using my electric fan, this one is my preference. Last but certainly not the least, among the needed electrical supplies and materials are the following. We have the switch, which is the main consideration why we are modifying or making our extension outlet or extension cord safe. Next is the tugang outlet. Then we have the screws with cross slots, a piece of wood which is 1 by 1.5 in size, and a hook. Now that you are already fully oriented or fully aware of what electrical tools, materials, and supplies you will be preparing, we will now proceed with the assembly. Let's! For the first part, kindly ready your piece of wood where you would be placing your tugang outlet and your safety switch. Next part would be removing the cover and screw and fixing your tugang outlet and your safety switch using these screws and your Phillips screwdriver. Next is using your wire stripper and its tip, make a single slit just like this for the wires to easily penetrate the inside of your switch and have connection with these terminals. But if you do not have this wire stripper, you can use the line 1 pliers or combination pliers in making the same slit or opening. Next part or step is preparing your flat cord or your wire. As you can see, there are two wires bonded to each other. All you need to do is just to separate or split them into two, just like this. Then in splitting or separating the two, you need to choose or select one where you would be cutting the supply of current and attaching such selected wire onto your switch. Next step is putting now your wires onto the whole assembly. As you can see, only the other piece of wire penetrated the switch after cutting it in half, where they are now placed onto the two terminals of the switch, where the on and off function of this switch or of the switch is happening. While on the other side, as you can see, the wire is still intact or still in solid piece. So, as what you have witnessed, this only means that if you intend to use or install switch to control your connections, be it lights or outlets, only one wire or live wire should be selected or cut to suspend or cut the supply of power. Never ever tap or connect the two independent wires, just like this, in the terminals of your switch. Again, I would like to stress it out or emphasize to you that only one wire should be selected when connecting it in your safety switch, or else an instant explosion of your project or outlet would surely happen, or worse, you might get electrocuted or you may start a house fire. So, always follow my reminders and focus on what you are doing. Next step is determining the position or location of your outlet's terminals. As you can see, the two terminals are located right at the middle. From there, put a marking where you would strip off or remove the cover or insulation of the wire and measure at least 1 inch from that marking for the permanent attachment of the wires. As you can see, the two wires are now intactly placed in the outlet's terminals. Before closing it, one thing I would like you all class to do, that is, have a thorough check or inspection of your wires. The connection should be all clean. No single strand of wire should touch its other's side or place, or else an instant explosion or damage to your wall outlet would happen. For the last procedure, or step before the testing is putting or fixing your plug. As you can see, screws were already removed, and what you would find are the two terminals also. Then measure at least 1 inch, or if you do estimation, then try leveling the tip of wire from the first line of your thumb. It's like this. We call that class as instant estimation. Should you do not have a measuring tool, particularly measuring an inch, then strip off the insulation or cover of the wire using a wire stripper or a lineman's pliers. Follow the same steps from what you have done or connected in the outlet. So, this is now the final output class. As you can see, the ordinary extension outlet or ordinary extension cord is now modified, bearing its switch for safety. And another thing, the hooks were already placed intact for safekeeping or organizing purpose. For the testing part, are you all excited now, class, to know if what we have assembled today would work or not? And that is the simple extension cord or extension outlet with safety switch. What I have here now, class, is a single piece of light bulb and a small electric fan. So let's have a try. Then let us turn on the switch. So, as you can see, both are working.